Hey FTM team, I'm Amarine. I'm here. I'm talking about some gender roles in society. I saw this topic, like when it first came up a week ago, and I was just like, where the fuck do I even begin? Because that's really how I feel about this topic. Um, so I'm gonna just try to make, a couple of short observations about it instead of like giving you guys some sort of verbal dissertation. So, pretty much, gender roles in society vary across time and cultures and even families. But we share a lot of them, especially today. Sorry, there's a wasp out here and I'm allergic to wasps. Anyway, don't, just stay away from me. Sorry, so we, so we, yeah, we definitely, I think, though, we absorb them and we pick up on them, and I think when we're transitioning or, we identify as transgender, it's gender roles, even though they can be a bad thing and they can, really enforce, guys do this and girls do this, and they can really limit us because people perceive us as girls, and that's not always, we don't always do the things or like the things that are associated with being girls. It can also be really sort of liberating, and it can give you a clue that you actually are transgender. Not always, there are trans guys who really like playing with dolls and, cooking and dressing up and dancing and all sorts of stuff like that, that sometimes is like supposed to be more female even though it's really not. We're taking on certain roles, like there are trans guys that, like to have people hold chairs and, push in chairs and hold doors for them and all that kind of stuff. And that's cool too. But sometimes it can help us sort of recognize our gender identity, and it can help us be like, oh, I, really like doing these certain things, and that's part of why I fit some of these roles, and that's part of why I feel, male. It's not just all of what makes you feel male or female, but that's part of, why I feel male or female. It's actually interesting, sort of pre-transition, as in like cutting my hair and doing all that kind of stuff. I actually made more of an effort to do some of the things that I felt like were stereotypically more male gender roles, because I really felt like that was how I could get people to see sort of who I was. I wasn't at the place yet where I could just be like, look, you're wrong, I'm not a girl, I'm a guy. I tried saying that sometimes and just had really bad results, so I didn't do that for a while. Instead, sometimes I would really fixate on gender roles, even if it wasn't something I was comfortable with. Like, for example, I would refuse to try to learn how to cook anything, even though sometimes I've kind of learned that it can be really fun and I can enjoy it because it was more of a female gender role. Even though my family gender roles are really loose pretty much, it was still, and sometimes they're even sort of mixed up, like, it was still something that I picked up from society, so I was like, no, I cannot cook because that's a girl thing to do. I mean, even though I didn't really believe that, it was still had a pretty strong influence on me. And so now, as I'm transitioning, I find that there's this better freedom from gender roles, and I can be like, I'm more aware of them, number one, and number two, I can just sort of do what I want and pick and choose, which ones fit with who I am, and I can say I'm male, and so I realized that for a while I wanted or liked this, but it was really just because I wanted to show people I was a guy. It's not because I really liked it, or I disliked this because it was, supposed to be a female thing. But now it's okay. Like I can realize that I like it. So I think transitioning is a great opportunity to sort of like overcome some of the boxes that those gender roles can put us in. But sometimes we also use them to sort of, help sometimes people that don't always understand. Sometimes it can be useful to help explain to people how we feel when we talk about those sorts of gender roles, and they can be really useful to help passing, and whether help you pass sometimes, like living up to those roles, and whether putting sort of a piece of yourself aside to take on those roles, even if it's not you, is worth passing or worth that kind of thing, is up to you. But I would just say I think it's a really great opportunity to actually sort of defy gender roles and step out of them. So that's it for this week, and cheers. Hope you all are doing well, and bye.